Hello everybody and welcome to my 6th Advanced Excel tutorial, and this tutorial is going to show you how to make pivot charts. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either highlight your data, go to data, pivot table, pivot chart report, and you can just create a pivot table. Next, A to J, good, next, and new worksheet. And then you can fill your pivot table in. So I'm going to put year down the side and sales cost in the middle. And then I want it to be the sum of sales costs. So let's just go to sum on here. If you're unsure what I'm doing here, then go back and watch the last 3 tutorials to go through how to make pivot tables. Then once you've got your pivot table with the data source you want, then it's as simple as just clicking on the chart wizard button up here, and you'll notice that it will open up a new tab for you with a chart sheet containing a chart that links through to the pivot table. And the advantage of this is, as your data in here is updated, you can then refresh the pivot cache in the pivot table, which will then in turn update the graph. So any changes you make here, you can then refresh in here and make the graph up to date. This that's come up here, the pivot table, toolbar. I would keep this because it's quite useful. You can refresh the data using it, and you can do things like, so here you've got the actual buttons themselves. If you go onto here, you can hide them and unhide them. So if you don't want people seeing that it's actually got those there and you don't want them playing around with them, then you can hide and unhide them there. And you can do the refreshing. So the other thing you can do in here is, if you click on the show field list, you can still actually add things in. So you can, if you wish, just drag things in, and same as before, you can put them on the right hand side and they'll go above. Obviously this has got quite close together, so let's change it to just 5 years, possibly even less than 5 years. Let's say 3 years. So here you can see that it's categorized it, so you've got the dates and then it splits it by year, and then it's going to do what the data does for each of those. If you go back into your sheet, you'll notice that it's already categorized them in the pivot table for you as well. So whatever you do in here affects what this looks like, and whatever you do in here affects what this looks like. They're linked together. Now you can do the normal things you do with charts. So you go on to right click on the chart and go onto chart type. So you can change what type of chart it is. So let's say we want to do a line or an area. So let's do an area one for now. So let's put that there. View the sample. Okay, and then you notice that it changes to an area graph. And whenever you refresh it, it will stay as the same graph type. You can change the color of the plot area. So I normally change things to white. You can also change the color of the actual data, same way you can with a normal graph. What you've got to be careful of though, you notice that I just refreshed data, and the colours of the graph have gone back to the default colour. So that's an issue that you get with pivot charts, is they'll always go back to the default Excel colour. The way to get around that is to go into Tools, Options, Colour. You'll notice here that you've got chart fills and chart lines. So if you go onto these, you can go onto Modify, change the colour of them, click OK, and you notice then that every time you refresh it, it goes to that default colour that you've chosen. So that's Tools, Options, Colour, Chart Fills and Chart Lines. So if we can change this to a line graph, Okay, you'll notice that it's dark blue. If I go into tools and then options, then chart lines, so that's the one it's selected at the moment. If you have more series, then it's pink, yellow, blue. We can change these so that's actually have let's have a green. Okay, okay, and then it'll change to green. So that's the best way of dealing with the colours on your pivot charts, because if you do them manually yourself rather than using that, then the colours aren't going to save for you whenever you refresh it. So that's how you use a pivot chart. If you're not confident with using charts in general, then go back to my intermediate tutorials where I go through how to use all the different graphs. So that's it for pivot tables now. Thanks for listening, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial when I will be showing you how to do mail merges.